we're making a
Hemingway Daiquiri.
Hemingway Daiquiri.
Yes.
We were inspired by, got the recipe by, at least had it the first time at Splitsville at Disney Springs. So we had it there first. Now we're going to attempt to make it here, or as I say, Karen's going to attempt to make it here. So first, let's go to Splitsville. Welcome back. Drink inspiration. That's what we call it. It's really just going out.
Drinkspiration.
Drinkspiration.
Drinkspiration. I just made that up.
We find cocktails as inspiration to make them at home, but really it's all about going and having a drink.
Having a drink.
We are at Splitsville, which is at Disney Springs. One of the places we go to a lot because there's a lot of different drinks here. And when we were trying to count like all the different bars that we went to, I think the rule was that if a venue had more than one bar, we could count them all.
We could count it, correct.
So I think we've done a video from the outside bar downstairs. So this might count as a
number 2
bar. And
we're on the second floor today.
This drink that's here that you wanted to have, you've had it before, and you really enjoyed it. I think I remember.
It's delicious.
It
was delicious.
And today we are doing a
Hemingway Daiquiri.
Hemingway Daiquiri.
Yes. So good. So good. Mm-hmm.
So a daiquiri roughly is what makes it a daiquiri?
I can tell you what's in this.
Tell us what's in it.
I'm not like an expert on daiquiris because I don't usually drink them, but this one has an aged rum. It has some maraschino liqueur, some grapefruit, some lime, and grenadine.
Okay, and that, from what I read, that's like the typical recipe for a Hemingway Daiquiri, which sort of doesn't resemble the drink that it's namesaked after, or whatever the term should be. It's not what he really drank as his daiquiri, but we'll talk about that afterwards. We try the drink. So the Hemingway Daiquiri at Splitsville, Disney Springs.
Cheers.
Oh, that is really lovely.
I told you.
Is it a little, almost a little spicy? Is it a spiced rum? Or just a tropical rum?
That's an aged rum. It's really good, right?
Lovely.
Yeah.
Hemingway Daiquiri. So
I was
obviously
curious to see what your reaction would be because, like Kevin said, I've had it before, but you had not.
It's amazing.
This
is amazing. It's a really good cocktail.
So good.
And we're not just saying that.
We're not just saying that. I feel like we always say that.
Today's video is brought to you by Ernest Hemingway, that 20th century writer.
That's awesome.
Ernest Hemingway, other than being a famous writer, was known as a prolific drinker. Loved his cocktails, which means there's lots of There's lots of myths and folklore around him. Like one of the myths is that like mojitos were his favorite drink, but actually some of the authors that have written books, I think one of them is called Having Another and Another with
To Have and Have More.
Yeah, and he said that actually whiskey soda and daiquiris were also some of his famous, not famous, but some of his favorite drinks.
And martinis.
Martinis. But they said he was known to drink fancy red wine when he was drinking with Picasso in Paris. And then when he was in Key West, Florida, or Havana, Cuba, he would drink all kinds of rums.
He liked to drink what was local to where he was, right?
He drank what's local, but they also said that asking him about like cocktail recipes was kind of like asking an NFL linebacker about pasta. It's all about quantity, not quality. So they're like, you don't want a recipe from this guy about pasta because he just wants to eat a lot of it.
Right.
You didn't want a real cocktail recipe from Hemingway because it was about quantity, not quality.
Wow.
So the Hemingway Daiquiri, the story goes, and actually I think one of his relatives, whether it was it a niece? Anyways, a relative of Hemingway actually kind of confirmed the story where he was in Havana, Cuba, and he just needed to use the bathroom. So he went into the El Floridita, or El Floridito, I think is this a bar in Havana.
Okay.
And the bartender was making daiquiris as he was coming out of the bathroom. And Hemingway says, I'll try one of those. And he tries it, and he's like, no, it's not bad. He's like, but take out anything sugary.
He didn't like sweet drinks at all.
Take out the sugar and double the rum. And they made it for him, and then he liked it. And so they called it, the real name of the original daiquiri was called Papa Double or something, because they called him Papa.
Right.
Locally in Havana, and it was double the rum. And that went on to become a Hemingway Daiquiri, and I guess the recipe
so
very good.
Thank
awesome.
you.
And I guess the recipe morphed, and people say that the current recipe like this would have been way too sweet.
Way too sweet for him. And it's not an overly sweet drink.
But it's
because I don't really care for. It's a little bit sweet, but I don't really care for sweet drinks. And this.
And I'm curious. I'm getting
good.
I'm getting a touch of spice, and I don't know if it's the rum or what else.
I'm guessing it's the rum.
So has anybody had a Hemingway Daiquiri?
If not, you should.
You should. Here at Splitsville,
yes.
At the Disney Springs. And again, we come here a lot because it's close, but there's just a lot of cocktail recipes or ideas we can get here. So as you know how this works now, we'll go back home and Karen will make the Hemingway Daiquiri.
Well, I'm going to try. Hopefully it's as good as this.
And now it's time to make one at home. Karen, what shall we do?
It was so delicious.
It was a while ago that we were actually there.
So delicious.
So I don't remember exactly what it tasted like, but I do remember that we loved it.
It was delicious.
So I'm wondering if we make it and we taste it, will it be familiar and we'll say,
I think so.
Yes, this is exactly what I remember.
So I'm excited, but I also am hoping I don't screw it up. I mean, it's easy enough to make. I just want to make sure it tastes the same.
And what are we using
That's the one
to
at
make
Splitsville.
the Hemingway Daiquiri?
So the Splitsville recipe calls for the Barbancourt 4-year aged rum.
So we scored, sometimes we have to substitute, we scored what we believe
we got the real
is,
deal.
what we believe is the rum we wanted.
Yep, nice.
Yeah. I think it's Barbancourt, is that what you think?
Barbancourt? I don't know.
Product of Haiti.
Like sounding it out.
Okay.
And then Luxardo Maraschino tomato liqueur, grapefruit juice, lime juice, splash of grenadine.
Sounds easy.
What could go wrong, right?
Oh no, what could go right?
Famous last words. And so as always, we're gonna make 2. So I'm gonna double up the recipe. So it's 2 ounces of rum for 1 drink. So we're going to do 4 ounces of rum. It's interesting. I was reading about daiquiris in general.
Talking about daiquiris made the dog thirsty. So he's decided
Right?
to go get a drink.
He's like, oh, they're having a drink. I'm going to have a drink too.
Hopefully our drink's better than that dirty water he's drinking.
A half an ounce of the maraschino liqueur. So we want 1 ounce. Anyway, I was reading up on daiquiris earlier because I used to always think of like those nasty frozen strawberry daiquiris whenever I thought
Not
of
all
daiquiri.
daiquiris are frozen. Like a lot of them that you
Correct.
get are.
This is a very, very different cocktail than that.
This is a real daiquiri. This is a sophisticated daiquiri.
And what I learned about the daiquiri actually is that they think it was invented by an American engineer who was living in Cuba at the time of the Spanish-American War, and he was holding a cocktail party and he ran out of gin.
So he had
And
to
that's
use rum.
where he must have had some rum and threw a bunch of stuff together. And then I read
Look
that...
at Karen with the fun facts
I know,
today.
right? I know. And then I read that Ernest Hemingway, of course, he wasn't known for loving quality cocktails. He liked strong cocktails. So he wanted the bartender to make the daiquiri with extra alcohol and less sugar. So hopefully this doesn't come out too sweet. So anyway, we did the 2 ounces of the rum, the half an ounce of the maraschino liqueur. It says 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. I'm just gonna squeeze this lime in here and see what happens. This lime is really big. Holy mackerel.
It says this is made with the recipe, the original recipe.
Secret family recipe.
There's like a line through the label, so it's either 1621 or 1821.
I'm like trying to muscle this lime. It's huge. There we go. There's the lime juice.
Girolamo Luxardo. 1821, it's on the front. Okay.
You good?
Yeah, I'm just interested. I've never heard of this.
Okay. I feel like we're all over the place today. So, I'm going to add the grapefruit juice. It says a half an ounce grapefruit juice. I'm going to do an ounce, I guess. And then we'll see. Yeah, that's probably good. You think? Maybe a little bit more. There we go. And then just a splash of grenadine. Grenadine can be really sweet, so we don't want too much of it. So we're just going to go, I don't know.
That's a splash. Now you're going to do 2 splashes.
Well, I got to do 2 splashes because I'm making 2 drinks.
That's more than a splash.
I'm making 2 drinks.
Okay.
You know what I don't have is a little, the rest
shaker?
of my shaker. Hold on. I'm going to try this. Wish me luck.
Wishing you luck.
Shake, shake, shake. Are you excited? I'm excited. It's not quite as red as theirs. Every last drop. And then we just garnish with a lime wheel.
Hope they're as good as I remember.
Here's the thing, they don't seem to be quite as pink as they were at Splitsville. I think it's because I went really shy on the grenadine. Okay, nothing left to do but try them.
Hemingway Daiquiri.
Yes. Can I smell it? It smells right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. It's good, but I don't know if I remember what the one at Splitsville tasted.
I don't know, it tastes pretty close to me.
Does it?
Tastes pretty close to me.
And it must be, because it tastes really good, and I know I enjoyed the one at Splitsville.
Oh my gosh. Yep, a little light on the grenadine, but I'm okay with that.
But whenever you can get the liquor that was in it, it helps.
Right.
A lot of times we'll find something close because
We
we can't get
substitute.
the exact liquor they use, but this is good.
This is so delicious.
Little rum drink.
Right?
Splitsville, Disney Springs, luxury bowling, as they call it. A few different bars. There's the outside bar that's always been there. Second floor bar we don't get to as often. And then the main inside bar downstairs, they remodeled within the last year or so. They took out the indoor center bar that was towards the front of the building, and they put in what they call the bamboo bar, which is now closer to the back of it. They took out some of the lanes that were right there. It's actually just before you go into the west end entrance of the orange parking garage.
Yes.
So, which is only an exit now. They don't let you come into the springs there. But anyways, right there, bamboo bar. They did it so that there's the bar opens inside and outside.
Right, so they have indoor and outdoor
So there's a
seating at
few
the
bar stools outside. There's some tables out there. And because it's pushed further back down that alley, what's the donut place that it's
Everglazed.
across? It's right across from Everglazed. But because it's further down that alley, it's almost hidden. You can almost always get in.
You're telling them all.
Ooh,
How they're all going to be
the
there.
secret band